T-minus 90 seconds and counting. All systems are go. We're about 90 seconds from the launch of Space Shuttle Discovery. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We are transferring to orbiter internal power at this time. Discovery is now running off its 3 onboard fuel cells. Coming up on a go for auto sequence start. And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. T-minus 17 seconds and counting. 15, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
Separation confirmed. Guidance now converging. Discovery's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to swivel, aiming the shuttle for its precise target in space for main engine cutoff.
Okay, you sound good.
Discovery Houston, negative return.
Copy, a negative return. Good morning, you filthy apes. Welcome to AMC and ADD, where we buy, we hold, and we screw the hedgies. Screw 'em! Wait, I'm too small. Oh man, I gotta fix my little tiny face. Today is going to be a non-background day for me. And the reason for that is because I've got a raging headache. I woke up late. I got a raging headache. I gotta make myself big in the corner down here. I'm not turning on the lights today. I'm just not gonna do it. It's like, oh man, my head. It hurts. It hurts too much for the lights. It's hard enough just to stare at the screen. I don't have coffee yet. I'm 10 minutes late. Nothing's going right. Today's a Twitch test day anyways. Today we're going to test out Twitch. I'm just going to show you real quick what that kind of looks like on my side. KC_Shaw. That's what it looks like right there. I haven't posted anything in the community chat about how to get there. I'm still trying to figure out how to find like a link to this. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out. Like I said, I've never really. I did one test run one time to see if it would actually worked, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to find a link to this thing. This is all new to me, guys. I don't know. I'm learning as you're watching, so. But this is what it looks like from my side. I'll try to get you guys a link in the community box, and then I'm also going to put up a link for Discord. And if you guys want to meet up in the Discord, we can talk. Anybody who wants to have a chance to be able to talk live on the stream today, they're going to have a chance. You can go into the community chat room in the Discord when I post that up, and we can talk in there. I'm not going to post that up until a little bit later, but I will put it in the community box, and we can discuss things from there. Dan says, filthy, I showered this month. Hey, you and me both, bud. Staying up with the troop last night. Hurry, get the coffee. Man, I watched a little bit of Mandalorian and Boss Blunts last night. And then I was talking to Mediocre Trader for a little bit, and I didn't even get my usual DD in with Adam AP. We didn't even get our get together last night, and I need coffee. Keto says, if this drop causes contagion among big tech, it could put pressure on margin. Good morning, Prometheus. Good morning, everybody, actually. Tell Williams asked, what is ADD? There's no ticker symbol for this. I've never had anybody ever say that before. I love it. It's not a ticker. It's what I got. It's what I got. It's what I've been gifted in life. It's a blessing. It's a curse. It's me. Logging into Fidelity right now. Give me 1 second. I think what I'm going to do is play you guys some music while I go make that coffee, because you know what? I don't want to tell somebody to shut the hell up. For some of you guys who are new to the channel, we had I haven't seen Bad Back in a while, honestly. But Bad Back used to be somebody who would come to our channel and kind of shill a little bit about AMC, and I don't know. I hadn't had my coffee one morning, and I got tired of him coming in here running in his mouth. I said, if you don't like it, you shouldn't be here. You should just shut the hell up." It was like, and previous to that point in time, I think everybody kind of viewed me as being like Santa Claus, and then it was kind of like, oh, hey, look, Santa Claus, no longer. Good morning, Froggy. Yeah, they stole my van, man. My headache this morning stole the van. I have to turn on the lights in the room in order to get the backdrop to show up, and I got like this raging headache right now, and I'm just not gonna do it. Caitlin says, I think court cases on BlackRock have started. Man, that's a development. Let's see here. Dang, that would be a huge development, Caitlin, if that's true. That'd be a massive development. Let me, I've updated Fidelity, and it's time. I'm gonna run through the numbers first, I think, and then I'm gonna put you guys on a little hiatus while I grab coffee because it should be pretty easy for me to run through the numbers. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean the glasses. Today is Twitch Day. If you don't know what that means, um, in case of an emergency, in case YouTube should happen to go down, it's always good to have backup plans, right? We never know what's going to happen through the entire process of a MOASS, and ways to stop us to be able to communicate together are probably going to be set in place. Um, it's good to have backups. So I have a backup Twitch account ready to go, but I've never used it. And somebody said, hey, shouldn't we test that out? And I'm like, you know what? That is a great idea. So today is testing day for that. We're not going to do it until after my second break. So when I come back at 11 a.m., I'm going to end the show at 11, and then I'll announce to everybody I'm going to be switching over to Switch, and then we'll Twitch rather, switch to Twitch, and then we'll switch over from 11:15ish until my next break, until the last break at the end of the day, the closing hour. And then we'll go back to YouTube for the last closing hour, or maybe we'll just stay on Twitch. I don't know. I'll probably go back to we'll go back to YouTube for the final hour. All right, my glasses I think are clean. Let's see. Yep, no smudges. Time to take a look at the numbers. Clean glasses. You know, sometimes if I don't wear my glasses long enough, I get headaches. All right, let's take a look at this stuff. What is going on with our numbers? Hey, look, there's the bus. Hey, look at that. Huh. I'm inside the... How does that work? I'm inside the bus. I don't have my green... I got no green screen. And I'm still inside my bus. Okay. I didn't know that was possible. Works for me. Here she is. The big tramp showed up, guys. Let's see here. What do we got? Price predictions starting on the top left-hand side. For those of you who are new, this is just for people, for apes trying to stay sharp on guessing the price within a $3 price range. There is no bearing whatsoever on how you should deal with your finances compared to how we're guessing on prices, because we're not right all the time. Yesterday, or I should say Monday, we were right. Let's see about yesterday. I said 1690, 1990. Eric said 1650 to 1950. Keto said 1639 to 1939, and Monty said 1672 to 1972. We were all correct. We all get a bonus point for the day. We are 2 for 2, every single one of us. This Friday, I'm just going to go ahead and announce this now. Keto doesn't know about this yet, but I think this Friday we're going to try to do the Friday morning. We're going to try to do the get all the guys who are guessing price predictions together and on the channel all at once, and just talk. People can ask questions of us. How do we guess? Why do we guess the things we guess? Is it difficult? You can ask questions, and we'll try to answer those questions for you. Looking at True Demons MOASS trigger indicators, short exempt volume for the day over day. Let's me refresh that and see what that was. Let's see, we got 64.7 thousand, so it did increase a little bit, but so did volume, so that's expected. Utilization. Get your drum roll going, because here it comes. Utilization. I'm showing 100%, but it says April 18th. Oh, nope, it's showing April 19th, 100% utilization. There it is. Congratulations. Day number 50. 50 straight trading days of 100% utilization. Day over day price, we had an increase of 6.87. Very nice. Oh man, staring at some of these screens, they hurt. Ah, that's so hard. That's so harmful. Must stop looking at that. Darker page. All right, let's see what our finals number were for off exchange and CBOE EDGX. Final numbers 51.32 through the off exchange, which is a little bit lower than the 30-day average. And the CBOE EDGX was a little bit higher than the 30-day average at 13.3. The total of those two numbers is 64.65, which is about 0.65 higher than what I would say has been the average 30-day total volume through the dark pools. Moving on to Vortex data. Current short share interest of the free float at 19.43%. Utilization still at that 100. We'll take a deeper dive into Vortex data here in just a minute. Looking at shares on loan by institutions on the top right-hand corner, 187.4 million. Let's give that a refresh and see where we're at now. 187.446, which is a little bit higher than the 0.434 from yesterday. Slight increase in institutional ownership. Max Pain. 1850 was what was reported for Max Pain yesterday. Let's give that a refresh. It was 19 on Monday, 1850 yesterday. Today it is 18. So it's dropped down a little bit. We are actually, so that puts us above Max Pain as it stands. And let's take a look at our open interest. Highest amount of open interest currently at a $20 strike price for calls. Yesterday there was 10,000 contracts that were open at that strike price. There's now 14.5. On the puts, highest amount of open interest. Just scroll around a little bit here. Get my Sean Connery accent going. $15. Yesterday there were 7.3 thousand contracts at $15, and today there is 7.6. So a slight increase on that one. Let's scroll down to the bottom on that and see what our lucky lottery ticket numbers are doing down here at $51 strike price. As of yesterday, we had 6.5 thousand contracts at 51. Today there's 11,000. Big increase on those lucky lotto tickets down there. Big increase. Also to note, there's a substantial amount of contracts open on puts at a $23 strike price, which are out of the money. When I say substantial, it's over 1,000. It's 1.1 thousand. Let me move a few screens over and we'll take a look at a deeper dive into Vortex data. Utilization. There's 50 straight days of trading. That's what 50 straight days of trading looks like at 100%. It's pretty long. Pretty big. That's what she said. On loan amount, dipping yet again day over day. It went from 132.5 down to 131.9. So we dropped by about just a little over 500,000 shares on loan. That should continue to have an upward driving effect on loan average age per day, which it did, which went from 94.3 to 95.42, yet still hitting new highs. I do want to mention in here that we had this dip back here, very small one-day dip of that happened on April 12th, which sets a timer. I've told you guys before, every time we see this indicator dip, this day on loan average age per day, that it sets a 15-day timer for seeing a price, somewhat of a significant price increase. So here we are on 1, 2, 3, 4 days. 4 days into that 15-day timer. A 6% increase probably wouldn't be enough. I would say that we need to see somewhere around 10%. But if we had 6% yesterday and we got 4% today, that would be enough. The 2 days combined would be enough to account for that dip on that on loan average age per day. Vortex's estimated short share interest of the free float dipping as well, with the on loan amount dipping. It went from 20.68 yesterday to 20. Oh no, you know what? It's actually flat across. It's 20.68. It's the same number. Day over. No. That's the confidence level. Interval. 19. Okay, so it went from 19.48 to 19.43. Slight decrease. My bad. Orders by Fidelity customers. AMC and GME had low volume yesterday, so they didn't make it onto the top 10 list on traded stocks on Fidelity. However, AMC did pull a come from behind win over GME on the list. We were like 22nd, I think, starting in the morning. By the end of the day, we finished in 17th with a 43% buy and a 57% sell ratio. That stinks. That's nasty. That's going to hit us in 2 days. Within two business days. If we have more selling going on today than we had buying going on again today, then I would just go ahead and say, just Thursday and Friday are going to suck. But they will tend to stack. Anytime we have more selling pressure than we have buying pressure, they will stack those sell orders and hit us hard all at once with those sell orders. So if we have like 2 days in a row of low buying, we'll see it. We'll see it in the numbers. They'll usually let it stack and try to hit us hard with it all at once. GME, on the other hand, came in at 18th on the list, and they had 58% buys to 42% sells, which is not that great either. 60-40 or better is what I'd like to see. SSR triggers today at $16.81. Let's see how many shares they've borrowed so far this morning. Let me get out my handy dandy little calculator over here. Let me just make sure there was no more. Okay, and then an additional 0.5. 0.05. Alrighty, so yesterday we witnessed about 2.05 million shares having been borrowed on Stonko Tracker. Today, that number is 2.3 million already. Let me transfer this number over my notes. It's Drinky Drink Wednesday, guys. That's going to help the headache. Fees are at 1.1% for loan shares. Calls currently at 24.5 thousand contracts in the money, 155.4 out. Looks like they added in a date here on 420. They've got 429 added in. They did not have 429. No contracts yet for 429. That's hard to believe. Why did I not notice this before? Why were there no... Wait, I'm so confused. I'm going to have to go back into yesterday's... Either this is a misreporting, or I just didn't recognize the fact that there were no options set for 429. I swear there were. I'm gonna have to go back in previous days. I'm gonna have to go back in yesterday's data and look and see in Stocko Tracker if there was data there. Let me go back over to Fidelity real quick in the options. I just want to look at this because that doesn't make sense. I don't think that they just opened those. I can't imagine I would have not seen that. Okay, this is a Is it a misreporting? This has got to be a misreporting because right now I'm looking at the options chain and there are contracts that are open for next week. So those just haven't, either those have just filled in, which there's enough here to make me think that these didn't just open up. Or it's a misreporting on Stocko Tracker's part, but that's it's kind of odd. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I'll have to do a little bit of diving into this and see what happened day over day. We'll do that a little bit later. But we currently have 11,000 contracts that are in the money on the puts versus 49,000 that are out of the money. We have quite a spread here. Let's see, just roughly guesstimating, we have about 205,000 contracts that are out of the money versus 35,000 contracts that are in the money. It's a pretty nasty ratio. Froggy Styles has started a petition. I don't even want to say it's not really a petition. He's starting a no buy options May. Doesn't really have like a rhyming theme to it, but it's still, I like it. I'm supporting it. I'm behind it. No buying options May to see what happens. I think that will put a lot of pressure on the market to push the price up to try and get people to buy back into options again. May is the perfect time to do it, in my opinion. Just because if you look at May's data, other than 520, the beginning portion of May, the first 2 weeks, like, are super low on option contracts. If we wanted to see it dry up and nothing happen in the option contracts and potentially get a rise in price, that would be the time to do it. It would be the perfect time to do it. A lot of people think that a gamma squeeze is needed in order to get the MOASS to happen, and I don't disagree. But what I would tend to say is that we don't have to cause the gamma squeeze. The market wants to make money automatically. The market will automatically cause a gamma squeeze to happen if there is a gamma squeeze to be had. Retail doesn't have to be responsible for that. Looks like the eastern side of the hemisphere was a little bit of mixture of red and green. Most of China was down at least 1%. Shenzhen was actually down 2%. Europe, on the other hand, was slightly green. In the pre-market, IWM is up 0.45, Tesla is down 0.03, Amazon is down 0.59, Cinemark is breaking even for the morning in the pre-market, Dogecoin is up 2.57, Bitcoin is up 1.5, GME is down 0.31, HYMC is down 4.6, which is our gold mine, Hood is down 0.26, and AMC is down 0.54. We had a nice little run up first thing in the morning this morning. Inflow versus outflow. There was $9 million more in outflow than inflow yesterday. So far this morning, we've traded 24.22 thousand shares, which is better volume than we had yesterday, that's for sure. At least at this time in the morning. We got about 15 minutes before the pokey stick of volume, which means it's going to be time for me to go make some coffee, and so I'll tell people to shut the hell up. On the weekly interval, we have more buying pressure than selling pressure with an RSI of 43.38 on the daily. We have more selling pressure than buying pressure. So we have this is kind of like something interesting I've been seeing. The weekly shows strength, right? Strength with over time you can see like a trend of strength week over week since 225. But then you've got a little bit of weakness and selling pressure that forms. It kind of grows strong again and then gets weak. So it's on an overall downtrend. But if you go to the daily, you have the exact opposite showing up on the daily. So it's kind of it's a very interesting divergence of reporting between those two time intervals. You know, because the daily, obviously the daily only encompasses maybe a week and a half's worth of time that I'm looking at right here. But within that week and a half's worth of time, we have less buying pressure than selling pressure. So a little interesting kind of period of time going on right here. We might see the weekly change a little bit, is what I guess I'm trying to say. If this continues to stay like this. But currently on the daily, more selling pressure than buying pressure with an RSI of 47.38. On the hourly, we have more buying pressure than selling. More buying pressure than selling pressure with an RSI of 61.39, which is above average. On a 30-minute interval, we have more selling pressure than buying pressure with multiple crossovers here within the last 3 hours or so. With more selling pressure than buying pressure currently, though, and an RSI of 59.28, which is above average. On a 5-minute interval, more buying pressure than selling pressure with an RSI of 44.16. A lot of conflicting numbers between each time interval. The weekly looks good, the daily looks bad. The hourly looks good, the 30-minute looks bad. The 5-minute looks good. The 1 minute, well, I guess if we were to go back and forth, the 1 minute should look bad, but it doesn't. It looks good. We don't really check the 1 minute though, because that's not very accurate. It's not an accurate representation of total movement for the future. And with that, I think it's coffee time. Welcome to 420. Today is Pantheon. I just noticed that you're in here. I just got over to the other page so I can see what it is that people are writing now. And I just want to say I hope you laughed a little bit when you saw my message to you and on Discord about your money. That was supposed to be a joke. Let's see what you guys are writing here. So Pantheon, it sounds like you don't like the idea of no buy contracts on and in May. And I'll explain to you the theory behind it. And I know, and I just the crux of what it is that you're the main thesis behind what it is that you're saying is the problem. And I'll tell you, I'll explain to you what it is. You're saying I like to think like a hedge fund. What would a hedge fund do? And I would agree with you That's not a bad perspective to have. If you want to know your enemy, you should know your enemy. Know what they're going to do. However, our enemy, our common enemy right now is not who you think it is. Our actual enemy is not hedge funds and market makers. It seems like it is, but that's not our common enemy. Our common enemy is actually our own brokers. Our own brokers are our own enemy right now because they are the ones. If you follow the money flow, they're the ones who stand to make the most money from constantly closing the price with the most amount of derivatives out of the money. When you have them loaning out shares to create short interest and also buying and selling contracts, they have the most to gain from the price, causing most of the contracts to fall out of the money. They stand to make the most amount of money. It's not the hedge funds and the market makers. So if they're the ones who are controlling price through pushing all of our purchases of stock through the off exchange, and you can tell the difference. There's a big difference between when they're controlling price and when they're not controlling price. They look like on-off switches in the market. One of the best periods of time that I can show where they started gaining control is December 23rd. I think it was 24th through the 28th, maybe. I think those are the dates. Let me go back to, I'm going to do a 15-minute time interval. And we'll go back to December. And I'll just show you what that looks like, if I can. What the heck is going on here? Oh, I got the volume up. I got to get rid of this volume. What the heck? I have 2 pages. How do we get rid of this one? December. Yeah, here it is, right here. So this is when I first started noticing the big differences on who was controlling price. There was a massive, massive difference in what was going on here. And what you see, I don't know why I have that second one there. I need to get rid of this somehow, but delete it. How do I delete it? This is where I need to be. I hate TradingView. This is why I hate TradingView so much. I'm just not familiar with it. I need to get more familiar. All right, we're gonna go back to Webull. It's gonna be easier for me to just drive there real quickly on Webull because I know it so much better. Let's see. Let's go to 15-minute. Get rid of the Bollinger Bands. And this, I mean, it becomes really clear and obvious to somebody who watches price movements throughout the day. There was this massive shift in how price of the stock was being traded and who had control. You see these spikes, these massive spikes down and spikes back up. This didn't used to happen with our stock. These I don't even know, these daggers didn't used to happen. These never ever happened before like this. We just have these like massive daggers that are either just going up or down, and sometimes they happen in a single day where the price shoots way up and then comes way back down. And to illustrate to you like how I know that that's long institutions that are controlling price is that they only have one method to control price, and that's through using off exchange, right? If they just stuff enough of our buy orders through the off exchange, then they can stop price from moving up, and by putting them through the lit market, they can control price by what goes up and what goes down. That's how they control it. Hedge funds, on the other hand, have many facets on how they can control price. Many facets. And that's why, normally speaking, when you see hedge funds, and these are the dates here where I first saw it start changing, normally hedge funds drive the price all over the place and it's squiggly, right? You get a bunch of squiggly lines, you don't see daggers. You get a lot of squiggly lines that go through, right? The daggers aren't as heavy. Or you see big drops in price, but you don't see daggers as much. When you see long institutions controlling price, you get daggers. It started right here on December 23rd. You have dagger number 1, dagger number 2, and the funny part, and the reason that I pulled up TradingView is because I wanted to take this image right here of this day, inverse it, and show you like how amazingly mirrored this is right here to this day. It's insane. You just take these days and you mirror them, and it's the same thing. This is long institutions controlling price, trying to manipulate market. They're trying to manipulate the market to start buying options, right? And then fooling them by putting the options out of the money. Doing it again. They go both directions. They do these dagger movements to try and get people to buy options. They are literally the ones that are causing this to not MOASS. They don't want the price to move anywhere because there's money to be made in the derivatives, and so you need to start thinking about who is really in control of price, because that's what causes this to happen. Because the options dried up right here. This week right here, options had dried up. There were no more options left to milk. So what did they do? They let the price run up. You get a dagger. You don't see this kind of pattern normally in trading. This kind of dagger stuff does not happen. Why did this happen? Because options had dried up this week right here. This week starting from 322 to 328. You can go back in the history and look at it. Options had completely dried up. They rose the price, got a whole bunch of people to go in and buy tons of options, and then absolutely started tanking the price on everybody and screwing tons and tons of people. We had over 300,000 contracts expire out of the money last week alone. Over 300,000 contracts. That's a lot of contracts. That tells you it is not market makers and hedge funds controlling price. That is absolutely 100% long institutions controlling price, and they will continue to do this kind of dagger movement to try and get people to put money, FOMO, put money into options to try and create something to happen. They're using retail to milk like a cow. We do not have to cause a gamma squeeze. The market will do it all on its own because it wants to make money. Markets like to make money. They will cause a gamma squeeze completely all on their own. They did it right here. They started it all on their own. We didn't even have to do anything, and they did it on them all on their own. So if we let options dry up, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start driving the price up. And when they start driving that price up, when they start letting it rise, they're going to expect us to go in and start buying options. And when we don't, it'll get out of control. It'll absolutely get out of control, and the market will start buying tons and tons and tons of call options because people in the market want to make money. Institutions want to make money, and it will absolutely cause a gamma squeeze all on its own. We don't have to do a thing. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I got to scroll to the bottom to see what you guys are writing because I couldn't see what you guys were writing when I said all that. Einstein says we also keep believing the brokers who want to do this. My opinion is they have no choice. They want to survive, and they're in over their heads as well. Yeah, they are. They absolutely. Our brokers are way in over their heads. That's why they won't allow. That's exactly the reason why they won't allow a share recall. If they allowed a share recall to happen, then they would be absolutely screwed because they have way more shares on their books than they're supposed to. Trying to think how I can get. Oh, let me send you an email, Pantheon, to a link for the Discord, and I can give you the mic. Hold on a second. Let me see. And actually, that would. Oh, I kind of. Yeah, it'll give me a chance. It'll give me a chance to get coffee. I can probably listen to you while I'm getting coffee. Let me send you an email. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find the link to this first. Hopefully you have Discord. Oh, of course, actually I know you have Discord. I've talked to you through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you I'm going to friend you on Discord because I don't know that we're friends on there. So let me friend you on Discord, and then I will send you the link through Discord to talk. Let me find Ape Chat. Why can't I get this to work? Just give me 1 second here. If you can send me a friend request faster than I can. I really don't use Discord a whole lot, so. There it is. I found you. Friend request failed. I sent a friend request. I said add friend, and it said Pantheon is not accepting friend requests. They'll have to add you to become friends. Pantheon has too many friends. No more friends for you. That's what it says. I don't make this up. I've never seen that message before. I didn't know you could even have that. There you go. Let's do that. You have to friend me. I can't friend you. My Discord name. All right, here we go. Everybody's gonna write this one down. My Discord name for everybody to write down is AMKC number 6335. I'm gonna just get like tons of these messages. We gotta look at our pokey stick of volume here. While I wait for that, let's look at our pokey stick of volume and figure out what kind of volume we're gonna have for the day today. Let's see here. What do I gotta subtract out of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5,000 out of 6, so 55. All right, so we had 50. We had a total of 55,000 shares having been traded by the time our pokey stick of volume rolled through. 55 minus the 31. We had 24,000 shares going into our 7 a.m. pokey stick of volume. The pokey stick of volume added an additional 31,000 shares in volume. That means that I can't go any higher than 20 to 40 million shares traded for the day today. Today will be a low volume traded day today, for sure. Let me enter that into my notes. 20 to 40, already there. Cool. 6335, yeah, it's AMK. I'll just enter it in MKC number 6335, just like that. Yep. Where is it going? I don't know if you can see it down on the bottom of the screen down here, AMKC 6335. Why is this so hard? Why do they make this so difficult? Friends, there we go. Add friend. And now I will send you a link to a Discord. And that should be able, once you get that link, oh, you're there. Let me make sure I got sound check. Sound check, check, 1, 2. Hello? Pantheon is in the room. You got no sound on your mic, Pantheon. If you go to your settings down on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see that there's a user settings. Should be down next, close to where your name is. It should show voice connected, but you can go to your user settings in there and you can define. And I have this problem with most people who haven't used Discord for a means of talking, but you can go to the user settings down there and you go to Discord and you can change both of the maybe it would just be easiest to just show you on screen. I don't think this is going to give away any information that I'm too fond of. So let's see. So what you want to do is you want to go down here to the bottom left-hand side of the screen, go into the user settings, then go to I think voice and video, and you're going to want to define your input and output devices, and you can control everything from there to get your sound working.
How are we sounding, Casey? We good?
Perfect. Let me just make sure your voice levels are good for everybody else to hear, because I hear you fine. Go ahead and say something again.
This was the day you never thought would happen, Casey. I've come to collect.
Hey, those Girl Scout cookies can only collect so much.
I like your sense of humor. You and I, we're on the same wavelength.
What you got for me, man? I haven't read all the stuff in the side column over there, so I don't know exactly what it is you're saying. Let's hear what it is. What you got?
It'll take no time at all. So I was not aware that Froggy had started a no buy options in May. I knew nothing about that. What I'm talking about has absolutely nothing to do with what anybody has said on this channel. And when you replied to me just now, everything you said I agree with.
Oh, okay.
So here's what I'm saying. Separate from everything else that you've heard or said today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put on your tinfoil hat.
Oh, wait, hold on a second.
And
wait, hold on. Okay, it's on.
Okay, so if you look at the options chain in April and you look at the options chain in June, there is a pretty decent amount of typical options that we see every month. When you look at the options chain in May, it is not the same. The options makers, the market makers, they have not put out the same number of contracts. It's much cleaner, and we're talking from a hedge fund's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So if tinfoil hat, if, and I'm not picking dates, I don't pick dates, I don't talk prices, but if the hedge funds were thinking we don't want to wait for the June 3rd executive order that Boss is talking about, Boss Blunts talks about, if we don't want to wait for the June 9th vote from the GME shareholders to approve the dividend share split, if we don't want to wait for these things, and if all tinfoil hat in theory, if they wanted to close their shorts in May, you have three things. You've got gamma, you've got FOMO, and then you've got to close your positions. So if you wanted to eliminate the gamma, you want to keep the options chain with very little to no contracts if you wanted to actually close your positions in May, not if you're looking to make money on out of the money contract premiums.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm talking about. So when I look at May and I see how clean it is, and I see April's not and June's not, you're like, there's something that's happened in May that just doesn't look. Which one of these doesn't belong? It's that game, right? So then you start putting on your tinfoil hat and you say, well, we've got the June 3rd executive order, we've got the entire market going down slowly, and I believe that that's where we're headed. We've got this June 9th shareholder vote from GME with these dividend stock split. When you start looking at all these different things and you start overlapping, where charts were previous to where they are now and the similarities, a May run in theory, could potentially make sense. And if it did, and you eliminate the options chain, you take out the gamma. Now you've got to eliminate the FOMO. And I'm thinking from a hedge fund's perspective. If I wanted to eliminate the FOMO, what do? You remove the buy button. Now all you've got left is hedge funds and retail shareholders deciding what price are we going to agree on, the bid-ask spread, if it comes time to close positions. It had nothing to do with, I love what Froggy's doing. I love the idea of no options may. And if this, tinfoil hat theory makes no sense or doesn't play out, because I'm not saying it will, we're putting on different tinfoil hats and seeing what fits, right?
Yeah.
But if it didn't play out that way, what Froggy's saying makes a hell of a lot of sense. And what you're saying is completely correct.
Yeah.
But if they had decided that they were going to proceed with it now in May, that's the first thing I would want to do is I'd want to eliminate the gamma, then I'd want to figure out a way to eliminate the FOMO, and then I would say, since those two things aren't going to run us up into the hundreds, now I don't have this basis to get springboarded from. Now instead of jumping on the springboard to dunk the basketball, now you've got to just jump from the ground. Can you do that?
Right.
And I think you could, Casey. I think you could dunk. I didn't mean to go on too long, but
No.
that's all I was trying to say this morning.
No, I actually agree a lot with all that, and the part that I would add too that I said yesterday, and people wanted me to clarify what I was saying was yesterday I said I don't think that they're going to let us get to a vote from GME shareholders to say yes to share issuance for dividend, right? Because that's
I'm
what they're
with
going
you 100%.
they're not going to, there's no way they're going to let that happen because they know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to absolutely cause all kinds of chaos and it will be uncontrollable and it will just be a mass mess. And so the only way you do something, the only way you can fix that is to preemptively do something beforehand, in a controlled manner, do whatever it is that they got to do, and basically kind of take that off the books, right? Because once everything is completed and done, then GME shareholders can have their vote. They can add as many shares as they want to as a dividend, and then there's no problems, right? Not an issue. But if you force the market makers to have to go out and find or create new shares, force buying, because I loved it when you said it the other night, they're forced into either buying or buying. That's going to cause absolute mass chaos, and it will be the catalyst. I just don't see any
Exactly.
other way around it.
They cannot create synthetics to cover the share stock split. They cannot do that.
Right.
So, like, I've had that question come to me about 25 times since the announcement of the vote, and it's good to mention it here. Like, they can't do that. They cannot create synthetics to cover the 3-for-1 stock split.
Right.
So that right there is a problem for them, and you're absolutely right. And the way I describe it on my show is there's a bunch of hedgies in a room, and there's one small door. Now, knowing this vote's coming up, not knowing after the vote is approved, and by the way, we're going to vote it yes. If people vote no against this, then I would shake my head. So it's going to get voted yes.
Yeah.
And if you're a hedge fund right now, and again, I just at the art of war, right? Know the enemy. So I
Yep.
try to think like a hedge fund, even though I'm not. And if you're one of those hedge funds or a smaller hedge fund, and you're looking at that door and you're looking behind you at all these hedgies in the same room, if you walk through that door right now, you'll survive. Now, if you wait until the vote, you're going to have half that room trying to squeeze through that one small door at the same time.
Mhm.
If you wait until after the vote, until the time comes to actually implement the split, every one of those guys are going to be running through the door at the exact same time, and you're going to get hedgies trampled on. Some are going to get thrown over their heads. It's going to be disaster. So the best thing they could do at this point, from what I can see, is close their positions because they've got two choices, as you said. They have two choices, and we're nice. They don't give us a choice. We give them a choice.
Mhm.
They can either buy the stock to close their positions, or they can try and find 3 shares for every one, buy 2 additional shares for every share they've done, and buy the stock.
Right.
It's buy the stock or buy the stock, right?
Yeah, it's not, and they can't do that because there's nothing out there. And they would absolutely drive the
Exactly.
price through the roof. And so yeah,
That's
I
that's why it's
mean,
genius.
it is total genius. So let me ask you this question then. Knowing that or thinking that, does that mean that we still don't play options in May?
Yeah, I think we still don't play options in May. I love the idea. I love what Froggy's doing. Look, here's the thing. I was saying back in January to anybody that would listen, if we stacked the options chain in June, 6 months later, just literally stacked it within the money and at the money options for weeks in a row, we would set ourselves up that we would be in a position for some major gamma come June. And everyone kept saying to me, no, Pantheon, you don't get it. We're going to pop in February. So what do you care? And I'm like, you don't know when we're going to pop, guys. If we had done that back in January, and of course, we're not a coordinated front, this is not financial advice.
Right.
But if retail had made their own decisions individually to do that, we'd be sitting in a pretty nice spot today. And so I would say no matter what plans or ideas or concepts people come up with, everything's valid. And Froggy's idea, I assume it's Froggy's idea, right? So
Well,
the
I've
no
been
buy
saying
May,
I've been saying it for a long time, but it was his idea to say, like, hey, everybody's not doing it in May, so it's his idea.
yeah, I support that 100%. I
Yeah.
think that everybody should be 100% correct and follow that, because we don't know if what I've just said, this it's a tinfoil hat. You're wearing it, it's beautiful. We don't know if that's actually going to play out in May.
Yeah.
So, assuming it didn't, let's have more options, right? We can't come in with one plan. If you're going to come into a UFC fight with just thinking you're going to jab the opponent, sometimes you got to take him down and wrestle. We got to have all of our skills ready to go.
Hmm. Yeah.
You look like a UFC fan, so I had to throw in the reference for you.
I'm actually not. I'm when it comes to sports, and I don't look it, but I'd rather be a player than a watcher. So I don't watch too many sports, unfortunately. But I like it. I like it though. Yeah, Froggy's saying I made the meme. He did. It was all his work.
And it's a smart meme.
Yeah.
Like there's more validity to what he's saying than to what I'm saying. I'm pretending to wear your tinfoil hat. So, I don't think I did a very good job articulating that, and I didn't know the conversation led prior to it. So, having put all that together, that's all I was saying.
So now that I've trapped you and got you on here, and I'm not going to let you run away for at least a second, I got to ask you, do you think that there's a possibility that they would have CBDC in place enough to where they could get that issued as a form of settlement before June?
No, not a chance. Biden's executive order came out in March, and it said he wanted a report done on a full analysis within 6 months. And following that, just recently, we've had the DTCC come out with their first post on Project Lithium. And all that's doing is it's a prototype program to take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of how that digital currency backed by the Fed could be implemented. I don't believe that they will have any shot to have that ready in the next 2 months.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
All right. All right. Well,
I know it's not the answer you want to hear.
well, no, it
That's
doesn't.
that's
It
my
doesn't matter if it's what
that's
I
my
want to
opinion.
hear or not. It's more, because I feel like, to me, it feels like the CBDC is kind of like the answer to a lot of questions, about where money's going to come from. Why are they propping up the market, continuously? I feel like there's more answers that can be found through CBDC than anything, but it doesn't mean that it has to be created right now. It could definitely be created further on down the line, even after a market crash, and still be an answer to a lot of problems are that exist that we don't have answers for.
Well, I never said it wasn't going to be a potential solution to what's going down.
Yeah.
Um,
And by the
and by
way,
the way,
I'm not for it, for the record. I'm not for CBDC. I
oh, I
see
hate
it.
it.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's the form. It's the next biggest form of control you can possibly have. Against people, but and especially what's happened up there in the north where you're at with Trudeau and what he did to people who are helping finance the trucking movement and the truckers and all that kind of stuff. That's got to scare the crap out of you guys. Like a centralized banking digital currency that the government could have complete control over your funds and just shut you down from
Oh,
being able to buy anything. Like, because if
100%.
the U.S. goes into it, Europe's already been talking about it for the last 2 years. If Europe's going to do it, Canada's going to do it. It's going to it won't just be just the U.S. It'll end up becoming like a world uh, movement of currency to this digital currency. It won't just be just here. It'll be everywhere.
Yeah, could I just take 1 second before we continue this? And I'm happy to keep going on this. So we've got an individual named Sam here in the comments. And Sam, you came into Massalorian's live stream last night and you kept spreading hate towards CS Trades while we had Boss Blunts and Massalorian doing a very wonderful live stream. I'm trying to have a conversation here with KC, and here you jump in telling Froggy he's supposed to tell me that you're canceling CS Trades. I don't believe in canceling people. I don't care about what's going on between those two. They'll sort it out. So, Sam, if you're going to keep this, then I don't need to have a conversation on this channel, okay? Like, this is not what people are here for. And I'm going to address this now. And if you don't like it, Sam, don't listen to my show because I don't believe in what you're talking about. It's something between Froggy and Cam. They can sort that out. I've got nothing to do with it. But I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon of people telling me to cancel people. So that's how I feel, Sam. If you don't like it, don't listen to my show. All
Yeah,
right, Casey,
I, I
I can get
wasn't
back on if you
I
want.
wasn't I wasn't I wasn't reading the comments on the side over there. So, but I would hope that all of you guys in the comment section over there would respect the people who are talking on the channel, and you know it doesn't have to be about canceling and all that other kind of stuff. So, um, but
I'm
yeah,
friends with you. I'm friends with Froggy. I'm friends with Mediocre. I'm friends with Cam. I'm not ditching any of my friends. So they got to sort their business out. You and we're doing something different here, Casey.
yeah, yeah,
All right, you want to talk more about digital currency? So can I talk about that for a little bit?
yeah, sure.
So I mentioned this on Boss's channel the other night, and sorry if that was uncomfortable for you, Casey. Didn't mean
That's
to
all
do
right.
that.
It happens. I haven't had my coffee
So
yet, so it's perfect timing.
So here's the thing, like in Canada, we had never had the Emergencies Act ever brought in, not even on 9/11. And when truckers went to Ottawa, the government enacted the Emergencies Act because they wanted to run through legislature without actually having to take it through what we have is called the House of Commons, which means the opposition has a chance to debate it and it goes back and forth and the people can, voice their concerns. So they use that truckers that was a nice hat, by the way. So they used the truckers' journey to Ottawa as a means to say that the sovereignty of Canada was in jeopardy, which it wasn't. By kids in bouncy castles singing the anthem, there was no violence there.
Hmm.
All of those reports were 100% exaggerated. So here's what we have: is we've got a government using that as an opportunity to invoke the Emergency Act, which is the most cowardice thing I've ever seen from a government. And on top of that, they then immediately ran through a law that said the banks in Canada, at the direction of the government, can take away all of the money out of all of your accounts instantly, hold it for up to, I think it was between 6 and 9 months, and you have complete indemnification from it, the banks. So even if it's discovered that you didn't do anything wrong, you can't sue them. Now, what are you going to do without any money for 6 to 9 months? How are you going to pay your mortgage? Well, you're going to miss your mortgage payments. You're
Yeah.
going to now end up in a credit mess. How are you going to pay for your line of credit if you've got a credit cards, your food, your kids' daycare, your gas, etc.? You can't. You can't afford any of these things. You've got no cash. And they slip that in as a way to help control. Now, if the government doesn't like what you've donated to through the bank can seize your money. If they don't like what you've said online, I'm not kidding, they can freeze your money because you may have had hate speech. If you write anything, me saying this right now that Trudeau is a complete dope would be enough for them to come in and seize my cash right now. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. They're trying to put in legislature right now in Canada, and this is going to affect the Americans, guys. So bear with me. They're trying to put in legislature right now in Canada that would freeze your ability to say anything online and to completely police everything we say. And if you say anything against the Liberal Party, you can end up in trouble like this. Like, it's absolutely a joke what's going on here. And it can happen there too if you guys don't stand up like we aren't in Canada, and it's pretty sad. So what does this have to do with digital currency? Well, that's the thing. The central bank digital currency that the Fed's talking about backing would be an immediate ability for them to freeze your money at any time. Full control. It's because they wouldn't have to go to an emergency act to get a law put in, which is complete BS, to then go to the banks and tell the banks to do their dirty work. They can just do it themselves right at the source. That's the biggest problem I have with the whole concept, because it's through distributed ledger technology, which allows them full control. And I don't mean to filibuster on your channel, Casey. I'm used to just talking at night for hours on end, so I'll just stop at this point and
No,
see what you think.
no, I agree. I mean, that's it is a very scary thing. The only thing that I feel like ultimately, I fully agree with what it is that you're saying. But the only thing that I would have to say in counter to that is that in the U.S. we do have laws that protect our rights, and I would think, I would hope, and that's, placing all your hope in one hand and crap in the other, and seeing which one weighs more. It's not a very good thing to place all your hope into one basket and say that's going to help you. But my hope is that our government would say, there would be lawsuits that would be filed if they were trying to control people's money through their accounts, and that there would be lawsuits and they would stop that from happening. So, but because there is due process here in the United States, where you can't just we do have freedom of speech. We can say whatever the heck it is we want to say, and provided it's not about doing certain things, but you can say whatever it is that you want to say, and you have that level of freedom, and they can't take that away from us. And we fight for that. We fight for that
But
freedom of being able to
can
say
they?
what. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
When
it,
the president of the United States could be silenced on Twitter, really?
and that's a great point, and I think that's exactly the reason why Elon is trying to buy Twitter, is he's trying to say there's no freedom of speech anymore. There's no, and even the president's saying that, which hence the reason for DWAC. But you can still
And I'm
say
with
it.
you, Casey.
You can
I'm
still
with you
say it.
100%.
You just get silenced. You know.
Yeah, I'm with you, Casey, and I agree with you 100%. I'm not arguing with you,
No,
but
no.
they're going to try.
Yeah.
That's the ESG scores, right? The
Yeah.
environmental sustainability scores. That's going to be a precursor for how they evaluate your ability to spend your money. Guys, I'm not kidding. This is coming, and people need to get up to speed on this faster than they are.
Do you guys have something called a TV series called Black Mirror up there? Have you seen that?
Yeah, well, yeah, we've got access to everything online. Yeah,
So there's this TV
it's a
series
UK
called.
show, right?
I think so. I think it is. Yeah. And in that series they have this one particular show. It's kind of like it's like current day Alfred Hitchcock type stuff. Like, what would happen if the world moved into just more of a digital age. And one of the shows has everybody that you point your phone at somebody, you get a person on there. If they treat you poorly, you can downrate them, and everybody has like a score, right? And that score limits you on what you can do. Like, if you want to go take an airline ride someplace, you want to hop on a flight to go somewhere. If you don't have enough, I'm going to call it karma. If you don't have enough karma, you can't get on that flight to go fly someplace because you're just low on karma. So it creates this, and they actually already have this program happening in China currently. It
That's
literally,
right.
yeah, it literally exists already as it stands. And so people they're kind of pushed into this false, you have to act a certain way in society, and if you don't, then you're going to get downgraded. And everybody can downgrade you everywhere you go. And so you end up having to conform to a societal norm, and it's terrible. It's like when you watch a show like that, you go like, oh my gosh, that's absolutely terrible. I can't just throw a fit whenever I want to throw a fit. Come on.
And that's not too far from where these guys are trying to take things. And I don't know if your audience is not happy with the direction this conversation's going this morning, as opposed to being on AMC, but this is important stuff in my opinion, and that's the way look at everything they've enacted. Like look, what the Patriot Act was a temporary measure at 9/11. 20 plus years later, it's still into force. It's still there. Yet it
Mm.
was a temporary measure. Once they get these little pieces of power, these terrible events take place. They run emergency powers through, which first we had the virus of unknown origins. Then it's also the Ukraine crisis. Now they're saying, hey guys, remember in the fall, we're going to have the virus of unknown origins cases they're creeping back up. Well, what's coming up in the fall, right? The elections, right? What does the virus of unknown origins help you do? I don't know, maybe force mail-in ballots, maybe not ID people at voting booths. Hey man, I'm just talking out loud here. You got me going on a Wednesday morning. I'm not usually up this early, but there's a lot of things they're doing right now, which is about control. That's really what this is all about,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And if I'm losing people, I apologize for that. But
Oh no,
um,
I don't care.
the currency,
I've
the
never.
currency,
I'm
and
not here for people. I'm here for the squeeze and documenting history. So, and people are along for the ride, and I think that's fun. That's the best part about
well,
is people are along for the ride.
like
So,
like in Canada, they gave us this thing called what the hell was it called? For people who couldn't work because they shut all the small businesses down. Like you couldn't go to a nice restaurant, but you could go to a McDonald's. You can't go to a mom and pop shop, but you can go to a Walmart. That makes absolutely no sense. No sense. You couldn't go to a small grocery store during the lockdowns here, but you could go to Walmart and you could buy your groceries there amongst tons of people, which are not socially distant. None of it made any bloody sense because we know why this was being done for their corporate overlords. But that whole thing was a precursor to prove how much money people in Canada could live off of with government assistance. I forget what it was called, but it was $600 every 2 weeks. And people were actually making, I'm sure they ran into debt, but they were trying to make do on 1,200 a month, which is absurd to make do on that, in my opinion. That right there is the precursor to universal basic income. And the universal basic income will be tied to your ESG score, your environmental, social, and governance score.
mm.
And the lower your score, the lower ability you're going to have to buy certain things and spend your money on certain areas. And I'm not kidding, guys. If anybody thinks I'm off my rocker, if you thought I've made sense at all up until this point, you gotta just all I ask is people look into this stuff. That's all.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. And I just want to clarify too. When I said what I said a minute ago, somebody said like Casey doesn't care about us. It's not what I exactly meant. What I meant to say. I know my wife just goes, "You are there for the people, you liar." What I meant to say was is that I'm here for the ride. And I know that we're here for the ride. All of us are here for the ride. But if people don't want to be on part of this ride, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people not being a part of this ride with me. So I do care. I do care about the people very immensely in this community. And I think there's maybe a talk. Well, my wife's making a drink for me. It's Drinky Drink Wednesday. Um, there is stuff that I think is going on within our community that maybe offline we can talk about sometime, Pantheon. But in regards to what was said earlier, but offline, I think those kind of conversations are good conversations to have offline because the strength of the community is what counts and matters the most. And I'm not here to try and cause disruptions within the community because I know how fragile it can be. I try to support the community as much as possible, wherever possible, but I'm also here to defend the community at all costs. So I hope you understand.
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Yeah,
Was I not
it's
defending the community as well?
no, 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 no. You're fine. I think I'm talking in code.
If you're telling me just shut up and let's talk offline, so be it. I can accept that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just talk offline another time about stuff. So, but I do care very much about this community, and I think it's fragile sometimes. I think I was talking to somebody last night, and I said, we're a lot like POWs, and in the respect that we have only our community to rely on to look for strength, because everything else around us is attacking us and trying to tell us that we should fail. Everything. Our government's telling us, our brokers are telling us, The hedge funds want us to go away. Everybody wants us to go away. And so there's we only have each other to count on, and that's it. And
Which is why I will always stand up for people who are trying to be silenced and frozen out or canceled, as they put it.
yeah,
I will always stand up for those people because I don't think they're bad people.
understood. Um, Future
On a
Whale said,
lighter topic,
no, Future Whale. I'm glad Future Whale's in here. I actually apologized, Future Whale, the other day when you weren't here. Future Whale says he does not care. I've been supporting KC since he started, and the other day he completely disrespected me and did not think twice about it. I was pissed off at Future Whale. Future Whale came in and said I was wrong about something, but he was trying to convince people that you could swing trade AMC on the squeeze, and I think that's kind of irresponsible. And it pissed me off that he came in here and was trying to tell people that they should swing trade or that they could swing trade the squeeze play. And and I apologize, Future, you weren't here for it to hear the apology, perhaps. And that's part of the thing that sucks about having a 9-hour show is that I can say something in 1 minute and 115 people hear it, but 3 hours later, another 115 people don't hear it. So I did apologize though, and I'm glad to see that you're here now because now I can apologize in person. I'm sorry that I said that because I do care very greatly, and I think that a lot of people in this community understand how much I care about the community and how much I look that I try to protect the community. And I think where I was wrong in what I said to you is that in that moment you told me you didn't have respect for me because I was protecting the community. I'm trying to protect the community, and you're telling me that you have no respect for me, and that pissed me off, and I got very angry at that, and that's why I told you I don't care about you, because anybody who doesn't care about me, who's trying to protect the community and look out for the community, is basically an attack on me and telling me that that's wrong, that I shouldn't be trying to watch out for people, and I am, and so I took it kind of harshly, and so I snapped at you, but I do greatly care. But it is what it is. Wait, what? We're all only human, my wife said.
I think anyone who's spent any amount of time on this channel knows that you care, Casey. And I think I don't mean to. I'm the only one that's got the mic here, so I'm just going to say I think if not everyone and the majority of the people in the comments would agree that we know you care and we know you're a good person, and that's why we're here.
Yeah. But anyways, moving forward, it's getting close to time for me to take a break anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. Pantheon, you're welcome to stay, but I know you probably, I have a feeling that sometimes you must sleep, and I don't know when that is. but I feel like sometimes it maybe is in the mornings. I don't know. I feel like sometimes you're just constantly up. I have no idea what your schedule's like because it just seems like you're always awake. And but I'm gonna take a break here, and I'll come back in a little bit. Sometimes it's good to just have a reset and walk away. And since it is break time and I have my drinky drink now, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break here, and I'll be back 15 minutes before market open. Pantheon, I appreciate you coming on. And Sam, I just put you in a timeout for just a little bit, man. I just wanted you to think about, what it was you were saying. It wasn't meant to be a punishment or anything like that. It was just kind of like I wanted you to take a time out and think about what was being said. And Pantheon, I appreciate you coming on. And I don't think anybody in this, I think a lot of people in this community know that you're a good person. I think they just want you to recognize something. Some people want you to recognize something, and but we'll talk about that later. And I guess, do you have any? Watch Pantheon. I'm really bad at throwing plugs, but I'm just
No need to.
I watch
Casey,
I watch
I'm happy to
Pantheon, so you guys should watch Pantheon.
I'm happy to stick around. Like, you want me to entertain the people and I'll be nice. You want me to do that while you're on break? I'll do that for you. I'm happy to stick around.
It's up to you, man. I'm just gonna take my break until 8:15, and if that's what you want to do, it's up to you.
Well, you give me a wrench. So if you trust me to talk, I'll talk to the people here and answer some questions. There's some good questions in here too.
Yeah,
Do you want me to just It's not my show.
No, no,
I'm
no.
just saying.
I don't normally. So just to kind of let you know what the flow is. I normally there's only two times that I've ever silenced people. Sam was just one of them. The other time was two guys that were fighting between each other. I don't. I have freedom of speech on here. I allow people to say what it is that they want to say. So if you don't mind, having people say what it is, I tell my moderators to, let people say what they want to say. If it's something completely egregious, then they'll go in and they'll silence people or whatever. But um, like
Yeah, I
it's
didn't ask you to silence Sam. I
no, I
addressed
know.
the situation.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I did. That was all on my own. I just want to make sure that did I give you the wrench? I don't know if I gave you the wrench or not.
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
You made me prove I was actually me.
well, I've had a problem. I've had a problem with people who kind of spoof other people, so I have to have a way of knowing who's who. So it's funny, but it's unfortunate that I have to go there. It's all in good nature. I've got a guy on here that's really funny, and he comes in as different people all the time. He'll come in as Adam Aaron, or he'll come in as just anybody, and he'll just kind of start poking fun. It's caused some confusion on occasion. Like there was one time, my mom came in and said something in the channel that didn't sound like something that my mom would say, and I said I don't think that's my mom, and so I called my mom up. I said, Mom, did you really say that? And she goes, Yes, I did. and, I, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Hey guys, guess what? My mom did say that. So it causes a little bit of confusion, but so if I put tools on people that need to stand out in the community, I put them on them so that I know who's who. Uh-oh. I think we lost them.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just I interrupted you a couple of times. I didn't mean to, so I was making sure that you were done before I spoke.
Okay. Anyways, I'll let you have at it, and I'm gonna take a break, and I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna listen in because I gotta step away and have break time, spend time with the family before my wife goes to bed. So, um,
You can trust me, Casey.
oh yeah,
You
I
can
do.
trust me.
I'm just saying. I'm just telling you, I can't control what everybody's saying. So, have at it. Good luck. See you in a bit.
Casey thinks I'm a loose cannon, folks. Let's
No,
see if
no,
I
no,
can
no. I don't think
go
you're.
unhinged
I,
today.
I don't. No, I'm saying the people are the loose cannons. They'll say whatever they want to say. So here, good luck.
I'm just messing with you.
All right.
Go get your coffee. Go
All right.
get your coffee.
All
We'll
right, man.
we'll take care of things here.
All right. Take care.
Alrighty, folks. Let's take a look through the comment section. We got some beautiful people here today, and I'm your sub for now. Casey is going to step off for a coffee, and I'm going to be your tour guide as we go through a little bit of the early morning on the beautiful Casey Shaw show. So let's take a look here. We've got a question from. There was one I saw that's been repeated a couple times here. Cuddy Cut. So it looks like we've got Cuddy Cut asking, "Good morning, Casey." Well, I'm going to be your temporary Casey for the moment. Is off exchange the same as dark pools? I'm not sure if he covered this earlier, but I'll address this. It is the same, but it's also dark pools and alternative trading systems (ATS). Now, here's the interesting part. Dark. Oh, so you also ask, can you give us his lesson on history of dark pools and why they're used? Absolutely. I've got an entire video on dark pools, but I won't ask you to go watch it. We'll talk about it here because we've got some time to kill while Casey's getting his coffee. So, alternative trading systems and dark pools are both regulated and described as such within the SEC documents and the SEC regulations. Citadel has created a thing called Citadel Connect. It's an off exchange system that they basically defined in a way. Ken Griffin's a very smart guy. Look, you don't have to like him. I don't like him, but he's a smart guy. He created a system called Citadel Connect that didn't actually classify as a dark pool or an ATS. Therefore, it became exempt from a lot of the rules of ATSs and dark pools. What you've seen in these SEC new regulations is a proposal to change some of those definitions back in the original wording of how they went in so that they would classify all of these systems. So basically, Ken Griffin found a way to, play the game of baseball without actually calling it baseball so that you can't say he's playing baseball, but he's really playing baseball. Now anything resembling baseball is going to be called baseball. I don't know if that's a bad example. But the reason dark pools were first put in place is because when you have large holders of shares, whether it be an individual like a Jeff Bezos or whether you have large institutions, if they hold large amounts of shares, let's say they've got 10 million shares of AMC and they want to trade with another person who also wants to buy 10 million shares of AMC, great, you've got a buyer and a seller lined up. But if you make them run through the lit exchange, you're going to drive the price either way up or way down with big orders like that. So what they came up with was, shouldn't we have a system where large institutional buyers and sellers or large whales, retail whales, really it's not retail, but they'd be handled by a big brokerage. When we have these large whale trades, shouldn't we be able to do it in a way that doesn't disrupt the entire price for all of retail? And the answer was that's a good idea. So they came up with dark pools as a place for an agreement between, let's say Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos want to, let's say Bill Gates wants to sell 10 million shares of AMC and Jeff Bezos wants to buy 10 million shares, and they get together in a dark pool and make the transaction. It still goes through, but doesn't affect the lit exchange because we don't want Jeff Bezos driving the price one way or the other because he has more money than retail, right? So it makes sense to do it in that regard. But what happened was when they first set up the dark pools, they were having all these high frequency traders outside the dark pools step in, and rather than just ban the high frequency traders, they had a lot of those people move those trades into the dark pools. Now, of course, the people that run the dark pools then just turned around and allowed the high frequency traders into the dark pools. So they were front running the orders. And front running the orders is you get the information a fraction of a second faster than the exchange, right? Than before they can run it through. So you can find out what the order's coming in as. It's like when you look at level 2. And right now you can see on Casey's screen, he's got the bid and the ask. And you can see the size of the order and you can see the price that it's at. So you can see there's right now 800 shares at 1885 or whatever that is. I can't read it. I think it's 1885. So you can see that, but there's a level 3 above that. And the market makers can see all of the things that are going down, but you should see it at the same information in the same time as everyone else. What they did was, and we're going to go into a bigger kind of topic here. What the exchanges did was they were first not for money, not for profit. Then the exchanges started turning themselves into profit, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. And what they did was they took their server rooms and where the main feed, the main communications line feed comes into the room, it then splits off into all the different server towers. And you've seen that, right? Rows and rows of server towers. But the server towers at the back of the room, compared to where the feed line comes into the room, will have a longer cord to reach that computer than ones at the front of the room where the feeder comes in. So the computers at the front will have a fraction of a second. We can't think that quick, but the computers can. Ability to understand the order before the ones at the back get it. So the exchanges started renting out to the hedge funds those servers at the front of the room for a profit, while retail got the servers at the back of the room. So when we see the information come through on whatever exchange we're looking at, we see it from the backroom servers, and the hedge funds like Ken Griffin see them at the front. They know the price before it hits us. They can immediately front run it and scalp it for a couple of pennies, thus not giving us best execution. Okay, so what happened is that's called front running the trades and through high frequency trading. Now that was that's not even supposed to be allowed, but rather than just outright ban it in the 2000s, they decided let's just move them into the dark pools so they don't have to. So let's let people move into the dark pools so they don't have to deal with the high frequency trading. Well, what happened next was the high frequency traders were then allowed by the dark pool owners into the freaking dark pools. I'm not going to swear in Casey's channel. I don't swear on mine. So that they could actually take advantage of front running people in the dark pools. So the whole thing just became defeated. And again, instead of banning, as it's not legal, but completely, you know, um, following through on the laws that exist on high frequency trading, they then had to change the rules a little bit to make alternative trading systems, which will, but slightly different. And then Ken Griffin made something even a little bit, like tweaked it a little bit different, it's like when you watch those old wrestling programs and like there's a show called the WCW, right? And all their wrestlers had songs that sounded well, not a lot of them had songs that sounded a lot like popular music at the time. There was a guy named Raven who had a song that sounded like Even Flow by Pearl Jam. There was a guy named Diamond Dallas Page who had a song that sounded just like Smells Like Teen Spirit. I mean, it sounds exactly like it, but all they did was have their musical people change the notes just a little bit, enough that they could say it's now original material. I mean, it's ridiculous. And that's what Ken Griffin did with Citadel Connect. They basically just swapped it up and tweaked it just enough that they could then go ahead and have a system that would now no longer be under any of those regulations. So now we've got dark pools that are being front run. It's supposed to be for large whale trades. Well, these market makers started realizing, you know what we can do? We could actually take these retail orders, because we have a T+2 settlement, which means it's the day you send the order in, they don't have to settle it for 2 days. That's about to change with Project Ion to go to a T+1 settlement. But what's happened here is they would actually take that 2 days and hold retail orders into a bundle, into a side bundle at the broker level or the market maker level. Okay, they would take the orders, you would get your confirmation, but they'd bundle it and bundle it and bundle it and bundle it. And after a few days, they've now got what was small trades, a bunch of multiple small trades. Now you've got multiple small trades that equate a big pot, a big bag of trades, and they would take that and they would run that through the dark pool. So when you hear about them saying they're running our orders through the dark pool, that's what they're talking about. They're bundling all of our retail orders together because there are limits to orders that can go through a dark pool. You can't send orders in below a certain amount of shares and a shared lot, and you can't send in individual retail orders into a dark pool. It's not allowed. But they take it and they bundle everything together and then run it through as one big order at the end of the day. So you might see this sometimes that the day ends and we hit whatever price we hit, and then 3 seconds or 2 seconds after the end of close, there's this one big order that just goes boom right through. And you're like, where is this order coming from? Who waits until 2 seconds after the market closes to put in a big order? Well, that's not anyone. It's them holding back our orders that we send through payment for order flow brokers. That's why people shouldn't use pay. I'm bringing a lot into this topic. They shouldn't use payment for order flow brokers because that's what they're doing. It routes the trades to the people who are going to hold it and then run it through the dark pool as one big bundle to look like a big institutional purchase, which at the end of the day doesn't look like a weird deal because no one from retail is buying that, but it's all of our purchases that got routed to the market makers like Citadel through the day. So that's kind of an opening gambit into dark pools, why they were created, the initial use of them. There are regulations around them. In 2018, the SEC had regulations that are in effect today that allows them to stop ban the use of a dark pool for up to a year. And Gary Gensler could step in at any moment and shut down that dark pool at any freaking moment, but he doesn't do it. And I think we can all figure out why that is. So that's kind of a bit of a little bit more of a deep dive into dark pools, their initial use, how they continue to find these ways around it. Like they make another rule, then they find a way around it. They make a rule, they find a way around it. There is a purpose for dark pools, but retail orders should not be being ran through it. And when we see 50% of the exchange data through the day goes through a dark pool, that means it's not affecting the lit exchange. So that means it's not affecting the price. So when people talk about the ping ponging is affecting the price. It's driving the price down. So they're not ping ponging themselves in a dark pool because there'd be no purpose to it. They're doing that and running those orders through, right? So basically our buy orders get held and run through the dark pool, but the sell orders are allowed to go to the lit exchange, thus creating downward pressure, in essence, kind of like free shorting. So a lot to digest there. I hope that sounded okay and went off okay. But that's a good question, and I see that you actually posted that a couple of times, so I thought maybe it would be better to cover that. And Casey can jump on later and let us know if I'm taking down the wrong path. Let's see if we can find another question. Well, we didn't lose anybody yet, so I guess that's a good sign. I'm just looking through the back old comments. The door analogy was good. Thank you, Balaclava Trader. Yeah, I like that. I had an image of all these people trying to rush through a door and they're getting thrown around and stuff. Look, if I was a hedge fund, if I was a smaller hedge fund and I'm looking at GameStop and I'm looking at this upcoming vote and I know it's going to get voted, come on, it's going to get voted yes. You know it is. Maybe they're going to wait to see if it gets voted yes because they don't believe it will. These people are type A personalities who are nuts. So they're basically sitting back waiting to find out, you know, they think they're going to win. They really honestly think they're going to win. They will not accept defeat, you know, and it's it's a little sad to see them go down like this. But again, like I like to quote, and it sounds like Casey does too. I like quoting The Art of War on my channel. And in that, show strength when you're weak and show weakness when you're strong. So, they're showing weakness and they're being tough guys, but let's be honest, they're restricting their own investors from being able to pull their money out. They are, you look back at 2008 and the interviews Ken Griffin did afterwards. He basically came out in 2012 with an interview and said, look, if Morgan Stanley had closed down on a Monday, Citadel would have been screwed and closed up by a Wednesday. That's how bad things were. But we couldn't let anyone see that. We had to keep showing, we're doing good. So he goes out and he does things like buy the whatever the hell he bought for $43 million. What was that? The Declaration of Independence? The Constitution. No, he bought the Constitution. The Constitution he bought for $43 million. Buys more properties and things like that. That's all just a front. Trying to buy the soccer team, the football team. That's all just a front. They're just trying to look like we're not getting to them, but we certainly are. We certainly are. Let's see. Froggy Style says, I don't trust the government have any control of my money. Hell yes. Hell yes. That's what that's going to lead to, guys. It really is. But I don't know if Casey liked that, so maybe I'll back off that for now. It is his channel. BioLife Hemp. We need to watch what they put in the bills. They will try to sneak in the massive spending bill. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what they always try and do. They'll call it, they'll call it the Patriot Act. I mean, who in their right mind wouldn't vote for something called the Patriot Act? Sounds great. And then you see all the things that they tack into it in order for it to go through. And you're like, what is all of this? None of it has to do with anything regarding, yeah. Man, just imagine being in government and voting against the Patriot Act. Like, you'd be like the only one there. And that's all anybody would hear. He was against the Patriot Act. How could he? That's what they would say. Let's see. Yes, Alex Reed, nowhere is safe when Faust Schwab and his minions in office across the Western world. Yeah, if you guys haven't looked into that, the Massalorian did a really good video where he broke down the World Economic Forum and the people that have been trained and put into government positions. All as he flat out says himself, the him being Klaus Schwab, they've infiltrated the governments around the world. He actually said that with a straight face. I think it was Boston University or something like that. He had this interview. He actually said it with a straight face. We have infiltrated the governments around the world. I don't even think a James Bond villain would say that on TV. It's just nuts. Ah, boy. I'm not a morning show guy, so, we'll see how this plays out. This might be my last venture on Casey's channel. We'll see if he lets me back on. Oh, boy. Dan McKenzie, Russell Brand. Yes, he does. Goes all over these topics. Yes, yeah, he does. He does. I don't get. My wife watches him a lot, but I get it. I get a little bit once in a while. She lets me know when there's something I need to hear. And by the way, I really, Casey looked to me like he was a little uncomfortable, and I guess I kind of get that, but I kind of thought we were doing some good work here, so I was kind of enjoying the back and forth with Casey. I like the guy. Anyways, if I was disrespectful, I apologize to anybody. If I was disrespectful to anyone, I apologize sincerely. But I'm just, I'm going to spit my truth. Yeah, we got back to Cuddy Cut. There's the question again. So I went into deep dive. I hope you heard that, Cuddy Cut. Yeah. So I see what you're saying, Sam. I'm not going to respond to that out of respect to KC. We'll just leave it at that. No, I'm going to say one thing. I'm just going to say one thing. You can't even speak your mind. Yeah, you can speak your mind. Of course you can. But you don't go into the middle of the town and say, "Hey, cowboys, we're gonna rustle up together and go after this person." You don't do that. That's what you were doing. That's the thing. That's what I have the problem with. That's it. You can say anything you want, my friend, especially on Casey's channel. He's all about freedom of speech. I just don't like people ganging up on people or saying, "Hey, Pantheon, didn't you know this person's been canceled?" No, I don't know that. I don't accept that. But you can speak your truth, my friend, and I mean that. Speak your truth. Let's see. Mika Allen, KC, this is your channel. You can say whatever you want. Thick skin will get a person a long way in this world. If a person is thin skin and gets offended, they can move on. Yep. And if that was meant for me, Mika, that's still true. I won't argue that. Let's see what else we got. My whole point is I got friends with a lot of people, and I'd like to remain that. Even though I said earlier I have no friends. Of course I've got friends. I'd like to keep my friendships, and I don't want to get in the middle of stuff. But I'm also not going to let people. All right. Ms. Harris, good morning to you too. Ketogenesis. We need FOMO buyers at all levels. So yeah, knock yourself out. Oh, okay. We do need FOMO buyers at all levels. I agree. And I was just trying to say earlier, knowing that, so then think like a hedge fund. Like they would want to eliminate that. How could they eliminate that? They would want to eliminate the gamma, right? They're afraid that if we take off with a bunch of, out the money options that would become in the money if they took off, if it started closing. On the other side, you can also say, well, Pantheon, why do you think they're going to close anytime soon? I don't know. We're just spitballing, guys. We're just spitballing here. Sammy Boy says, "What's up? What's up, Sammy Boy? How you doing?" Froggy Styles wants to get his tinfoil hat. That's pretty awesome. I'm about 17 minutes behind catching up to everybody. I'm just browsing through to see what there is here that I can help with, or at least try to help with. Myself, let's all leave this channel when he gets. No, please don't. Please don't. Because if you guys left the channel, Casey would blame me. He would say, "What did that Pantheon guy do?" And he's got my email. So I'd be in some serious trouble. And quite frankly, I like Casey Shaw. So I'd like to talk to him um, about other stuff. Let's see. Savvy. Pantheon, do you think if GME squeezes first or the other way around, the government will stop the run up for the other shorted stocks? Uh, Thank you for all you do. I love your show. Oh, thank you very much, Savvy. So there's always the possibility of government interference, but I just don't see the scenario of letting one squeeze and not the others. Like the problem is they have to clear the situation up. There's going to be transparency regulations coming into effect, but mostly they provide information to the SEC. Remember, here's the biggest part of the problem that people really don't get. The SEC does not have the information the DTC has. They don't. The DTC and the DTCC, because the DTC is under the DTCC, right? And the NSCC and the DTC go under the umbrella of the DTCC. They have the same information. The SEC does not have that information. They don't have access to the sheets. They don't have access to everything the DTC does. So the SEC and Gary Gensler actually don't have the access to the information that tells them all of these synthetics are there. They don't. The DTC does. That's the truth. So this would allow the SEC to see that information. Now, you could say, well, they're not going to do anything about it. Look, the SEC, they're beat cops. They give you parking tickets. They give you fines. They can't take you to go to Department of Justice for criminal activity. That's not what they do. They don't even have. They can propose the case and pull the information together, and then the DOJ decides whether or not to pursue it. So, you know, basically, to answer your question more specifically, if one's going to run, I think they're all going to run. I don't know if they're going to run at the same time. See, do you want to deal with think of it like a hedge fund. Do you want to deal with everything at the same time, or do you want to stagger it? Might be easier if you stagger it in one sense, but on the other hand, if you let GME rip first, aren't the GME people going to roll their money into AMC next, or vice versa? You would think, right? At least a portion of your profits. Let's say you come out of it with, I don't know, we'll just pick low numbers. Let's say you come out of it with $700,000. Let's just pick low numbers. Okay. What would stop you from rolling 200,000 of that into AMC? I'm just saying, not all of it, just a portion of it. But you get a bunch of people doing that. That's pretty scary from a hedge fund's perspective. So I would say, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they all went at the same time. And boy, that's going to be a mess. Gary Keating, can options kill the squeeze or just slow it down? Well, they've been managing and manipulating the options chain, as Casey has talked about, to control time and space. But really, it's mostly about collecting the premiums than it is about anything else. So I would say, can it kill the squeeze or just slow it down? It's just slowing it down. They're not going to kill the squeeze through the options chain, in my opinion. And in fact, I think they need to have an open options chain, as I said earlier, to really go forward with a decent covering position. Like, I don't want to have 80,000 contracts, or 100,000 contracts out of the money that if I start closing my short positions will then become in the money. And that's a whole nother problem that I have to deal with now, right? Where are those shares going to come from? So, if I was a hedge fund, I would want to close when that I've been looking for this is my point. That's why May interests me. And I'm not saying we're going to squeeze in May. I'm just saying I think it's a conversation people should have and more than anything, understand a bit better how to look at the overall perspective. So we're down to 101 people. I think that I'm hurting Casey's channel. So that's not good. I'll answer a few more questions, then I'll stop talking. AV, Pantheon, I understand not financial advice, but pure speculation, and theoretically this squeeze possibly will happen before the GME dividend vote. It's possible in the sense that anything's possible. If I was a hedge fund, I wouldn't want to wait for the vote. Nosa, I like this nonstop format with Casey and Pantheon. Pass the mic to Frog. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't do it. I don't have the control, but yeah, let's get more people on. I think that'd be fun. Casey does a really good job on his own though too. Jay says, "What's up, my brother? How you doing?" Brian says he went to Harvard. Just there you go. Prometheus, hell yeah, I get my coast to coast woohoo. Yeah, just early in the morning. I'm not sure if I'm the acquired taste of Casey's typical listeners, so I guess we'll find out. But I've been very bullish on Casey on my channel. But Donkey Kong, that coffee has some Bailey's Irish cream in it. Well, it should, especially on 420. Not that it has anything to do with 420, but everybody should have a little bit of fun on 420. Jordan Corner, Pantheon, much love to you. Listen to you all the time. Thank you, Jordan. Man, I appreciate that. Monty's thrown in his price prediction for the day. I like Monty. Monty's a sharp dude. Let's see. Stop block trading our orders. I agree. Ketogenesis. Debbie says we'll watch him, Casey. Well, I think 23 people have left since I've started talking. That's a bad sign. That's 20% of his audience has bailed since I started talking. Let's see here. BioLife Hemp. This is a Matt Core, Dave Lauer BS. It's a word. The community just refers to anything off exchange as dark pool. Dark pools, ATS, are the two systems we group into the word. Well, they've actually changed the word from dark pools on so BioLife Hemp. They've actually changed the name. It used to say dark pools when they reported it. Now it just says off exchange. They actually changed that on purpose because they realized the name dark pools. It's a little too James Bond villain-esque. So and off exchange is dark pools and ATS. That is correct. They are both classified as off exchange systems plus whatever Citadel Connect is, which will end up becoming an ATS in the new definitions of the SEC. Savvy says, Pantheon, which videos that explains the dark pools? Well, I think I gave you the biggest part of it, but it's actually my video called Dark Pools. Let me find it here. I'm just going to go to my channel for a second, see if I can find you the episode number, but it's just called Dark Pools. Give me 1 second. All right. It's got a blue thumbnail with a scared looking Gary Gensler. I'll just get you the episode number. Where did you go? So episode 32 in my series, it's called AMC Stock Dash Dark Pools. I thought I redid it. Where is that? In fact, I know I redid it. Because nobody watched the original, so I redid part of it and re-released it. But I'm not finding it on the list of videos. Anyways, that would be the one to check out. Just start from there. If you want to, watch anything more than I've said here today, episode 32 in my playlist. Cuddy Cut, can market makers move retail orders to the dark pools without us knowing or proving it? Yes, I described that already, which you wouldn't have known at the time you put this question in. But yes, they can. They're not legally, but they are. Let's put it that way. They can and they are, and they're not supposed to. Retail is not supposed to be meant for dark pools. I'll put it this way. If you wanted to trade in the dark pool, you don't have access because retail is not allowed in there. It's a club and you're not invited. But your orders can be ran in through others? No, that's not how it's supposed to work. Future Whale, what's up? How you doing, my friend? Okay, where are we at here? Edward says, if they just want to survive another day, they must cover before June. The problem, Edward, and I agree with you. The problem they've got is they've realized we don't have any receipts on this yet. We speculate on the number of synthetic shares that exist. But if we in fact have, let's just use Boss Blunt's example. Boss thinks there's somewhere between 10 and 20 billion synthetics. If that's true, if it's in between 10 and 20 billion synthetics, they may not survive when they start closing these positions. I've often thought the only way they can survive this is if they drag this out over multiple years and they take turns slowly covering one after another, very, very slowly. Leave the short interest at 20% reported because it's self-reported. And then eventually after multiple years, then you bring it down. But I think they have zero interest in doing it that way. And it would take a long, long time. And we wouldn't have 90% retail ownership minus index funds if that were the case. Let's see. CS Trades, how you doing? Oh boy. There's a bunch of new comments here. I'm loving this. Let me see what I can help with. Sam says KG said he bought the copy of the Constitution as a birthday gift for his son. Yeah, he can say whatever he wants. The fact is, a bunch of apes got together and pulled a bunch of Bitcoin together, and then he stepped in and basically got it from under them. I mean, I feel like it was his way of just extending the middle finger to us saying, you'll never beat me. That's what I think he was doing. But I can't prove that. This whole part right here needs to be clipped. Can I clip this and post it on my channel? What part was that, BioLite? The part where I lost my crap? No, yeah, I don't think you should clip that. But it's Casey's channel. He owns the rights to the material on this show. So, if I don't want what I say being, I'm kidding. I clip whatever you want. If I don't like what I say being clipped, I shouldn't say it. Well, the moment I go on a YouTube channel and I speak, I'm free reign for you to bash me, for you to love me, for you to whatever, right? That's how it works in my opinion. I accept that when I log in. But if you're talking about the dark pool stuff, BioLife Hemp, I mean, hell, you could take anything from my channel you want. All I ask is that people just give credit. I took 4 days off in the last 2 weeks. I took a 4-day stretch off because there were 5 YouTubers who blatantly stole my material, and I got tired of it. So I just stopped putting material out there and said, find something else to take from. Just last week, a guy in New York completely stole my video, completely stole it, and got it all wrong. So it's pretty funny stuff. So BioLife Hemp, you take whatever you need. All I say is, if it doesn't make me look stupid, just make sure you give credit. That's all. Gary Keating, what's the chances it squeezes before June 3rd, percentage-wise? Oh, I'm not going to put a percentage on that. It's things like that that get you in trouble. I like what I'm seeing, but I'm not giving dates. I just, we're just talking. I don't know when it's going to squeeze. No, sir, I've been following you for a while, Pampan. I know you've always been there. I really appreciate you. You still amaze me every day, the level of knowledge and control you have about this stuff. You rock. Well, I don't think I was under control this morning, but I'm usually not talking at 5:30 a.m. my time either. So, but I'll own it. If I screwed up, I apologize to people. But thank you, Nosa. Yeah, I appreciate that. I do my best. Let's see. WM, good morning, folks. Hello, WM. You probably didn't expect to hear me this morning. You might be thinking, who is that silky, smooth sound? Have I heard that voice before? What is this? What channel have I come across? Well, I'm covering for KC while he goes and handles his other channels, right? He's all working on his what do you call it? Oh, he's back. I better stop talking about that. Let's see. Myself, it's not too late for the vote to be. Oh, yep. That's the election stuff. No, Melodug, it's cool, Melodug. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to incite any chapboard violence. We're good, Melodug. Let's see, Alex Reed. I think they're stuck, bud, until they're forced to cover. They won't. Yep, I think that might be part of the problem. I mean, the whole thesis that we brought up about May that we talked about kind of makes sense. But on the other hand, if even any scenario destroys them, then they'll fight till the very end. They're crazy like that. Christy, hello to you too. AV, I understand not financial advice, but pure speculation and theoretically, this squeeze possibly will happen before the GME dividend vote. In that sense, AV, anything is possible, my friend. Anything is possible. I am not saying that it is going to happen or probable. I'm saying it is possible. Yeah. So I'm not trying to give you hopium or set a date or disappoint people if something comes and goes. We're just throwing out theories and ideas. And, Casey literally put the tinfoil hat on to signify that we were just talking, right? But Donkey Kong, when do you sleep? Hardly ever. Hardly ever. And poorly, I might add. I got a lot of things on the brain. Sam says Pantheon. I think about what you're saying. Maybe you're right. You don't have to agree with me, Sam. You know what, my friend? Like, I still got love for you. Don't ever let anyone push you into thinking something you don't believe. One Life to Live, 71. Hey, wasn't that a TV show? One Life to Live. Wasn't that like one of those daytime talk shows or daytime dramas? I think my mom used to watch that. Do you think GME is key to the shorts having to cover? I think that they will have to. You're saying for AMC? I don't think the GME has to be covered for AMC to have it squeezed, but I do think they're both going to be squoze and they're both going to be covered. That is my assertion. I hope I didn't misunderstand the question. Alex Reed, Pantheon sleeps in between talking, I think. Yeah, I'm going to try that Da Vinci sleep. Didn't Kramer do that where he slept 15 minutes every 3 hours or something? It went completely nuts. I should give that a shot.
Pantheon,
By the way,
you're doing an excellent job, by the way. I just wanted to
oh,
throw that in
thank
there that I've been back, but I love hearing you talk, man. I just love hearing you talk.
Actually, Casey, I've got one for you. There's 4 people in our community that are all the same age. You and me and 2 other people, and I'm not going to say who they are because people will know them, and one is a lady, and we should talk about ladies' ages. But I showed all 4 people on the screen to my wife, and she looked at the other 2, and she said, "I shouldn't even be saying this. I'm gonna change it up." She looked at your picture and she said, "Yeah, you 2 look the same age." What her point was is that I don't look my age, I look younger. She thought you looked younger than 45 too. Because
But
you're 45, right?
yeah, you wait till I shave
Yeah.
off this beard. When we hit $90 and I get to shave this thing off, I'm gonna look like I'm 35.
That's what she said. She said it's the beard might be off, might be making people off, but she said if that beard was gone, I guarantee he wouldn't look that age. And I said, yeah. I hear you. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
That's funny. Yeah, I've gotten that most
You
of my
came in.
life.
Yeah, and that's not a bad problem to have. I mean, when we were younger, we had to get our fake IDs. I suppose that was a bit difficult, right? But when you get older, you kind of appreciate that, looking a little younger.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember it's always funny when you walk in and they are ID your wife but not you, and you're like, oh yeah, sure, sure, you're just trying to make her feel good, but what about me over here?
I'll just handle a few more questions here and just wrap this up if you want. There's a few more to me. BioLife Hemp. I'm starting to think Pantheon is AI. The man is everywhere at any time. Pantheon, we need proof that you're real. My question to you, BioLife Hemp, is: have you ever seen me and Skynet together in the same room at the same time? Ah, think about that for a second. I'm very much a real boy. In fact, when I have an offline chat with Casey, I'm going to go on camera so you can see me, because I think that offline, I think we can do that, and I want you to feel comfortable that I'm a real person.
I think I heard Macedonian say that you're not a bad looking guy. He doesn't understand why you don't put yourself on camera. And then